Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Wasted Ink. I'm Jared.
And I'm Josh.
Today we're going to be talking about conspiracy theories.
Good topic, good topic. There's plenty of things to talk about in conspiracy theories. I mean, literally anything you can think of, quite frankly, has a conspiracy theory attached to it.
Literally everything you can breathe, and there's a conspiracy
theory.
Yeah,
seriously. There's like conspiracy theories on like if you breathe a certain way, like the oxygen that enters your body. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some scientific things that like, yeah, more oxygen can help your body, but some people are like, no, it helps your spirit. There's no proof. That's a conspiracy theory. No. I could see the logical side of it, but it's a conspiracy theory for a reason, you know?
Yeah, but on the opposite end of the spectrum, somebody would say, what if oxygen is just something we breathe that makes us see a warped version of this world?
Exactly. Random stuff like that, like, for no reason, people just come up with these ideas that, like, this is how we explain what's going on. And I think that's a lot of the fundamentals of conspiracies is simply just figuring out why something works the way it does. And when you have a lack of knowledge, make a conspiracy theory.
You tend to conspiracy, yeah.
You make up whatever theory comes to your mind that works the best. So, what was the first topic we were thinking about talking about?
We were thinking about talking about the Illuminati today. That's the first topic. And then we're going to bring it down to maybe, some election stuff. And then, our personal view on what conspiracies are.
Okay, cool, yeah. I like that, yeah. I think a lot of people don't really see the Illuminati and like understand what it is or like how people assume it operates.
Yeah. So. But basically, to sum up what the Illuminati is, it's something that's been around since man has started walking. Basically, like a secret society that controls everything that happens in our world.
Mm-hmm.
And like it is a vast area of fucking everything.
Dude, that's like, I don't understand, because to a certain degree, yes, like, don't get me wrong, you're gonna have people that think that there's like a world order, some type of like agglomeration of people that come together to try to have power over others. That makes sense. Like, throughout history, you see that there have been
huge
groups and bloodlines of people that were just like, you know what, screw what's going on here. I want it to run it the way I want to run it, so I'm going to do it from the backgrounds because I don't want to get killed. And in today's society, anyone can walk up to you with a gun, so the easiest thing to do is to be off in the background.
Exactly. But, if you look it up online in the CIA.gov, literally on the CIA's website, you can look up bloodlines of the
Are you serious?
I'm dead ass, bro.
What the heck, bro?
I'm not even lying. Let me look it up right now.
I was gonna say, pull that up right now. See what it says, because that is absolutely insane, dude. Like,
dude, yeah. No,
if you can literally see on the U.S. government website the Illuminati bloodlines, like, that is absolutely insane. Genuinely, just unremarkably insane.
Dude, it's insane, honestly. And it comes... Oh, snap. I looked it up, and it's... Gave me the white screen again. Oh, my God.
Wait, what did you look up on it?
Illuminati bloodlines.
It didn't pop up on website, online?
No. But if you look it up on Google, the website for the CIA pulls up a PDF, and all you got to do is scroll down and look. It's right there.
Dude, that is so weird because...
Isn't it?
What?
And it's right there. It's the whole thing.
What the heck? So people think they really have, like, they have documentation of people that started the Illuminati.
Yeah, this is like a confirmed
question,
theory almost.
Yeah, the question comes, when was it really established? Because that might just be written record of when it was established, but that doesn't necessarily... if the government has stuff, like, written about the Illuminati and people, like, think that the Illuminati is like part of the U.S. government because of it being like on the dollar bill, like the triangle on the top of the pyramid with the eyeball, dude. Like, that's on our dollar. That's on our currency. Like, stuff we use every single day.
There's a theory that like on several of the bills you can take and make like the 9/11.
But you can't. I've seen it done.
It's weird.
It's so like.
And there's like also one that's like if you roll up the dollar bill or something and you put it under like a bunch of UV, that it comes up with like an alien. It's really cool.
I've never seen that.
I've never tried it
either,
so I can't confirm or deny that one. But
so like, if, all right, so say say like we're onto something, right? There's this massive, huge, just I don't even know. That's the thing. It's just so hard to comprehend how large this could be, because if it's a genuine thing that's like people in the shadows, that would be more like it's literally a world order where like people from all around our world are a part of it. So like our government could be a part of it, like France's government could be a part of it, and like we think, oh, we hate North Korea. What if North Korea is part of it?
Dude.
And everything's just like an elaborate plan, bro. This is why conspiracy theories are so hard to follow, because like some pieces might be true, but then some pieces it's like, well, if that happens, the logical output would be this. And it's like that's not necessarily what's happening, but that's how it makes sense to happen.
Yeah, I mean, some people think that the Illuminati is evil. Is it evil or
I have no idea, bro. I barely knew much about it before looking it up for this. So like I don't know. Some people try to assume that it's good, and some people try to assume that it's bad. I think a huge aspect of it is on perception, without a doubt. Because like if you're someone that wants, I don't know, say the Illuminati wants the whole world to be under one order, the general population probably would not secede to that. They'd probably be like, F off. This is my world. I do what I want.
And that's why they do it underground almost.
Exactly.
So that
exactly. Because there's people that
we have like the freedom of choice, when in reality they're just doing all the controlling.
Exactly.
And that's
what's scary. Is
isn't
like
it?
there could be, but there might not be. That's the whole reason it's a conspiracy, because you literally never know.
Yeah.
Literally never know.
Not at all. Not at all.
So honestly, for the U.S. in itself, not even necessarily the world, there's a lot of conspiracies as well.
Right.
And to kind of lead into that, because we touched on the Illuminati just a tad bit, and that's more of like a worldly, like it could affect the entire planet, so to say. Whereas something in the U.S., like say like the 2020 elections, bro. Like honestly, the 2020 elections, there's so many conspiracies about that. You know, whether you're voting for Trump, whether you're voting for Biden, whether you're voting for all like third party, it doesn't matter, bro. Every single person that's out there, if you talk to them for more than 20 minutes, they think that something that probably hasn't happened has happened.
Exactly.
Like 90% of Trump supporters that I meet, they could guarantee you that the whole election was rigged by maybe not even foreign affairs, but it was rigged. You know, let alone
that's what they're saying.
Exactly. Let alone, but I've seen people from every single side saying that it was rigged from foreign affairs, which is actually also crazy, because like, didn't you just do a little bit of research on like some executive order Trump?
Yeah, it was. The executive order was on foreign interventions in future U.S. elections, which means basically, if there's proof that like there was foreign intervention, like say Russia helps a candidate, whether it be Trump or Biden, this election, the CIA can go in and investigate that.
Okay.
45 days after they take office.
Okay. Is it? I wonder if it's after taking office or if it's after the final day of counting ballots.
Let me check that real quick.
Because I think it would make more sense to be on the end of finding ballots than it would be at the end of the actual election. Rumor has it, of course I don't know how true to be it was, but rumor had it that someone had seen that it was 40 days after the final election, because the investigation period actually just started like a couple days ago.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I seen it on TikTok, so like it's up in the air to how truthful that really is.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then it's 45 days after the final counting of the ballots.
Yeah.
Which would make more sense, because if you wait 45 days after they're already put into office, which is in January of next year, that's like what, like 2.5, 3 months worth of time that anyone would have to go through and just delete everything they need so that way no one can find out.
Here we go. It says, this is on the whitehouse.gov, like the actual website.
Yeah.
It says, accordingly, I hereby order Section 1A, no later than 45 days after the conclusion of a United States election, Director of the National Intelligence, in consultation with the heads of any other appropriate executive departments, agency, shall conduct an wow, that is a long shall conduct an assessment of any information indicating that a foreign government or any person acting as an agent of or on behalf of a foreign government has acted with the intent or purpose interfere in an election.
Okay, so it's not even necessarily the
So-
CIA. It's just any agency that investigates stuff like that, which CIA, Criminal Investigation Agency, it's what
Pretty
it
much.
does.
Yeah.
But any agency that sees fit to find things that aren't what they need to be are allowed to come up and say, like, hey, this wasn't right. We found information here. And saying after the conclusion, because in January is when they're like signed into office.
Yeah,
but the
this one-
conclusion is technically right after the end of the
Right.
ballot counting.
Yeah, right after they find out who the true winner is. which,
Exactly.
if I'm not mistaken, they are still counting the ballots, right?
I have no idea, dude. If I'm 100% honest with you, as much as I would like to say, yeah, I know, I have no idea. Because like every time I hear, hey, they're still counting, I look it up and it's like sometimes they're not, or like something popped up to where like they have to push it off again, or like something happens to where it's not. It's either already counted in certain states or certain states are still behind, or like it's such a hodgepodge of just a mess right now.
Yeah.
Complete mess.
Oh yeah, and that's honestly another part of the conspiracy with the Illuminati and everything, is the media too.
Oh, absolutely, dude. The
The
media.
media involvement in this election has been so ridiculous, man.
Dude, I don't understand how so many people find it so easy to be influenced by media in a way that is so absurd.
Yeah.
Like, I get the whole how a media affects our common mental health and stuff like that, because we constantly see portrayals of perfect lives around us, and to us that's all you see.
Exactly.
And that messes with your mental psyche, and I get that. But when it comes to an entire election, when you have numbers literally saying that this person has this many votes and this person has this many votes, and you can go on government websites and see that, but then instead you decide to trust, say, Fox News or CNN or any news media or Instagram or something posted on TikTok, or is that you just have to be very careful about the
because-
information you find, because half the time it might be a conspiracy theory that sounds right, so people assume it's not.
Yeah. And honestly, a long time ago, I'm calling it yellow journalism, but people will also call it something else. Like, there's multiple terms for it, but I'm calling it yellow journalism because that's what I learned. Yellow journalism is basically the fake stuff to get you to support.
Not only to support, but to literally get views.
Exactly.
Bro, like certain news stations will literally broadcast something that might be completely incorrect just so that way they get people to tune in.
The United States literally funded a whole invasion of Cuba on yellow journalism, saying that there was a massive invasion of troops over in Cuba soil, Cuban soil. Wow, I can't talk today. On Cuban soil, and they said that they were all killed in action, when in reality nothing happened. Nothing at all. Not even a battle. Nothing took place.
Dang, that is insane, dude.
Yeah, and they used it to. I think it was in the 1900s. They just used it to invade Cuba for no reason.
Yeah.
Which really would make you think. Like nowadays, with all of this stuff going on, you would think you would try not to listen to the media.
Exactly, right?
I mean,
And that's
they've
the thing.
proven so well out through history that they're so reliable.
And that's the thing, dude, is the media. I feel like a big, massive part of it is how new
Oh yeah.
the media is. Because to us, in our perspective, it is all we've known. We grew up in a time where as kids, we didn't have much technology, but as soon as we started growing up, dude, I had my first Nintendo DS a year after it fucking freaking came out. Dude, we grew up with some form of technology, whether it was minimalistic or not, we had it. And then I remember when I was 13, 14, I had signed up for a Facebook without even knowing what it was. And then my dad was like, yo, why did you sign up for Facebook? This could be bad. I don't even know what it is.
Oh, man,
stop.
my mom and dad were so skeptical of
Yeah.
Facebook at first too.
Yeah, because nobody knew what it was. It was online. It was where you could connect with a huge amount of people that you didn't know who they were.
Yeah, and it's more everybody was coming home from MySpace.
Yeah.
MySpace was
And
more
even-
popular.
Well, absolutely, but not even. Even then, at the beginning of MySpace, which we didn't even necessarily see, because that was an end of an era of digital media in itself.
Yeah.
Because MySpaces, bro, I've never personally had one, but I know
I've never had one.
people would bougie them things out, bro, and they were
yeah.
they would think they are top dog by having a bougie MySpace page. They'd have music going into it and stuff like that, and they would have freaking like animations and stuff, and back then that was like, dude, I cannot believe I did that.
Oh yeah,
like,
and people are like they conspiracies around MySpace and Facebook. They say that Mark Zuckerberg stole the idea of Facebook from MySpace.
I mean, it's possible, bro, but like that's the thing is like, to what degree do you say it's a conspiracy that he stole it, or to what degree do you just say he's a smart businessman that saw an opportunity that the creator of MySpace wasn't taking,
Like
and
maybe
he took it?
maybe they didn't do like the copyright, and he was like able to use that.
Because quite frankly, look at Facebook and look at every other social media platform like Instagram, Snapchat, bro. Facebook incorporates anytime like a new social media platform comes out with something like Instagram stories.
Yeah.
Facebook didn't have stories until Instagram had stories.
And Instagram didn't have stories until Snapchat.
So I'm like literally like at some point you have to look at it and say, okay, this is progression. And then at some point you have to look at it and be like, okay, you're just copying everyone around you so that way you don't fall off the face of the earth.
And honestly, I feel like that's happening a lot with social media now.
Yeah.
It's like, because you go on Instagram, you can do the same thing you can do on Facebook. The only difference is Instagram has pictures and Facebook has people talking in different pictures and sharing posts and all that different stuff.
And don't get me wrong, like each different platform has its own respective audience, and it has its own respective way of handling things, and like things are very different on each platform. Like if you go on Facebook, you don't necessarily know how to operate Instagram, or if you go on Instagram, you don't necessarily know how to operate Facebook. But you can tell they've definitely done like some sort of configuration to all of them where they're similar, which I don't know if that's maybe in the actual building of the app, if that's why they turn out the same, is because it's just easier to have the fundamentals the same and expand off of that, or if people are just lazy and don't want to try to come up with new innovative ideas that aren't going to catch, that cost more money, that cost more time. Like if you have something that is clicking, are you going to reinvent the wheel that isn't broken, or are you just going to drive the car that's going down the road perfectly fine, you know? Like,
are you going to make the improvement on the wheel, or are you going to...
Exactly. Are you going to try to improve something that's already working to what seems like its fullest potential, or are you going to try to maybe jump on the wheel first, see how it works, and then build from it, which I feel like that's a lot of how Facebook works, or like Mark Zuckerberg, or even the creators of Snapchat. Like they kind of see what other apps are doing and then they add it from there.
Yeah, and that's a good business tactic in that area.
Exactly. But that, all that aside, it literally all of it comes back full circle to let you know that nothing on them is 100% facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the thing, is like even people they put like this weird, what's the word, delusional optimistic mindset that
everything is
every single thing, like even things you see from like universities, are 100% facts.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, yeah, someone with a degree posted it, so it means a little bit more than before. But at the end of the day, it's still another human being.
Yeah.
It's still another person going on saying, this is what I found, this is what I find to be true. You can never really fully trust it until you actually see it or put it into action in your own life, in my own opinion.
Yeah.
That's how I logically assess conspiracy theories, is not necessarily how true they are in a general sense, but how effective they can be in my life.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, worrying about stuff that is 100% out of your control is only going to give you anxiety. It's only going to give you depression.
Yep.
It's only going to give you stress, and that's one of the things that like when you think about conspiracy theories, like we were saying, like we wanted to talk a little bit on how we feel about them. And
like,
at the end of the day, like your own personal opinions and ideas on conspiracy theories is essentially what guides you and how helpful or detrimental these conspiracy theories are.
Yeah. I think, honestly, my opinion on a conspiracy theory is it's just that. It's a conspiracy theory. Whether or not it gets proved or not, it's just something that, people, they want an explanation for things that aren't, like, that have the explanation already, but they don't believe the explanation. And I feel like if people really, like, took the time to confirm these conspiracy theories, then maybe we get a lot further.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because at the end of the day, like, it turns to how much of it can you prove, how much of it just makes sense, and then how much of it just turns out to be this weird, like, mixture of truth riddled with misinformation to make it seem like it is represented in a way that it's not necessarily accurate. What do you think though? Like, kind of touching back on the previous topic really quick before we actually dive into like how we feel about conspiracies. What do you think would happen if another superpower, such as like I don't know, Russia, China, someone with really big weapons, decided that like, okay, yeah, we're gonna affect your not only your elections to get the person we want in your office, but then afterwards we're gonna fuck you up.
I think honestly, mutually assured destruction. You know what that is? It's mad. It came out during the Cuban Missile Crisis because Russia has a bunch of big boom booms and we have a bunch of big boom booms. Now North Korea also now has a bunch of big boom booms. So we have mutually assured destruction. Because honestly, if we were to have a nuclear war right now, it would throw us into the Stone Age.
It's even that, bro. I feel like all of us would just die.
Pretty much. Like, there's enough nuclear power on this world to literally create a dinosaur extinction event.
Yeah.
At once.
To humans.
To humans, yeah.
So, like, we're just...
bye-bye. We just keep up with this mutually assured destruction. And honestly, I don't even know why we still have nuclear weapons. Like, if we have mutually assured destruction...
Honestly, I think there's a benefit to having the nuclear weapons only in the forefront of development in technologies.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you can have a nuclear bomb that blows up and sends... Man, that plane is close. But it sends, like, shockwaves, like, everywhere. How much energy displacement does that bomb have? Like, how much energy displacement value does that bomb have?
Yeah.
Now, say if you could somehow put that into a nuclear reaction or some type of fuser where instead of expanding the energy outwards as a bomb, you have a propulsion engine, right? And so basically that's just either a combustion or electronic, whatever type of engine system you have. All it is a big old boom boom that gets you to go to another freaking space.
Big old boom boom.
Yeah, so like don't get me wrong, like obviously a nuclear bomb is going to be different from a diesel powered combustion engine, but if you can take the energy from one and mix it into the other and somehow mechanically, like I'm not a freaking mechanic genius, so I don't know how, but if you could do that, imagine how much easier getting up to like high speeds to get into space would be, or how much more fuel efficient we could be if we have one giant boom boom that sets us into space instead of a bunch of different chain reactions of the combustion engine going off and then trying to have enough psi and pressure to go up that far. You know,
or even bring it back down to Earth. You know, China just turned on its artificial sun, which is also, I believe, it's nuclear fission, like almost perfect.
What?
Artificial sun. Have you not been paying attention to the news lately?
No, dude. I mean, like I said, conspiracy. So I like to assume that, like,
just talking about the.
Yeah, I like to assume most of the stuff I hear from the news isn't quite real. So I usually just watch it for the weather because I know that's about the only. I don't even the news is accurate on the weather, dude. Like,
no, honestly, I'll be honest. I don't watch the news. I look more into like websites. I won't look up websites that have like .com or anything like that, but if it has .net, .gov, you know, usually those are more in tune with what's actually going on. But there's a lot of .gov sites talking about this new artificial sun that they turned on over there. It burns almost like 4 times hotter than the surface of the sun. It's at like 400 something thousand degrees Celsius.
What happens if this thing blows up on Earth?
No, they have it in a contained like area that's almost
contained.
If it were to blow up,
if it's 4 times hotter than the sun, which I don't know how true that is, but if it is,
well, I mean,
what can we really build to contain this?
I don't know, but the energy you'll get from it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
That could be something that, like, that's the thing though, like, too, like, not only is it a good source of energy, but if we can somehow like contain that energy and take it with us, that's when we can take that energy in a spaceship, go somewhere, and have nuclear energy like the sun anywhere we go.
Exactly. And honestly, like, going back to what you said about the foreign affairs, you know, I'm going to bring it back down because I never really answered that other part. If we were to, like, if there was a government that wanted to influence the election and it so happened to get by, foreign governments would usually only put intervention if they wanted something like, I don't know, a trade embargo taken off of them, or like a ban or something. They do it for personal gain, and that would be the main thing. I don't know why this whole stuff with like Russia. I don't know what they would want.
To be able
Take
to
over.
control, yeah, literally just to be able to control
Communism.
the only superpower on this earth that literally keeps Russia in check is, quite frankly, us. Because, like, South America doesn't give a shit what Russia does. Quite frankly, I'm pretty sure Russia helped Cuba whenever we tried to fucking do that shit. So,
Like that's the whole reason we have mutually shared destruction.
yeah,
The Cuban Missile Crisis was because
Russia almost brought all their stuff to Cuba, which is
Yeah.
only a somewhat. Is that a dog or a cow?
that's a dog.
That's a big dog.
That's a big old dog.
Oh,
That is a big dog.
I thought that was a baby cow. I'm so serious. Speaking of which, as you guys can see, we're kind of outside. It was just too beautiful of a day not to be out
Yeah,
here.
man. And this area is phenomenal.
Absolutely gorgeous. So we apologize for any background noises, you guys, but
And that
like
airplane
we had to
from
be
earlier.
outside. It was beautiful.
It's a nice day. It's like 60 degrees right now. You can't argue with that.
Exactly.
It's
Middle of the
great.
day, like mid 60s, mid 70s, like
It's perfect.
perfect weather.
Perfect weather for a podcast.
Exactly. But anyways, like we were saying, as far as it goes for conspiracies worldwide, things like the Illuminati, it could definitely affect us on a global scale. You know, it'd be
Yeah.
kind of sucky to have someone controlling our lives behind the scenes and we don't even know it as like ordinary people. But then like that also makes you wonder like how many people have died because of the Illuminati if they're real, or how many are they like a peaceful organization that's trying to control from the shadows but not kill, or are they people that are willing to assassinate? Like what is going on?
Are they like evil? Are they
Like,
after
dude, when
money?
I think of a world order, when I think of like Illuminati, I think of like I don't know if you've ever played the Assassin's Creed or like how long it's
Have you
been.
ever played Injustice?
Not much of it now.
The video game Injustice is awesome. Not the comics.
Mm.
I've never read them, but I've played the video game part.
Okay.
Basically, Superman accidentally kills Lois Lane because the Joker essentially made him think that she was Doomsday.
Mm.
Yeah. And he ends up killing the Joker. And then he goes nuts, and then he creates a whole world order surrounded. But he did it forcefully. It's a little bit different from the Illuminati. but
Yeah, I mean, you never know though. Maybe something like that did happen back in the day. That's the thing is like like you can read on
You never
why people say he started it or like what like really was going on at the time. But like even then, like I said, that's another human writing down what it is. Unless you have documentation of him saying, "I hereby decree that this is what I'm starting and this is why," you don't know why. Like the dude could be thinking in the back of his head, like, "I just want to take over the world." Yeah. So like I was saying, like like how it started, like you never really know what they were thinking, you know, like he could have been in the back of his head like, yo, I just want to have this world order that's gonna like do things right.
Yeah.
And like he might have been completely in the right mindset of like, I don't like the governments that we have. I don't think anyone's gonna make one that we need. I'm gonna make something behind the scenes so that way nobody really gets murked or like, you know. And then they turned out to be extremists at some point, because you always have extremists no matter where you go.
And then
And
once
then
that
those are the
happens-
people that are probably off assassinating people that they think would have bad influence on their cause.
Yeah.
But that's saying something that like might be completely false, because on the other hand, homeboy might have been like, you know what? I don't like the world. I'm gonna destroy it. It's gonna
Yeah.
take a while, but I'm gonna set up this thing that literally controls everything. And at any given point, if I decide or if any of my successors decide, we could just end it.
Smirk it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just like take control.
Yeah.
So like it's so hard to say, because it's a conspiracy theory as much as we might find truth to it, because there's freaking Illuminati bloodline transcripts on the CIA website. You still have to be a little bit skeptical and say, okay,
Yeah,
well, like,
because, like,
how much
maybe-
are they willing to really tell us about it? You
Yeah.
know? Because like even this year, the government went out and announced that one of the, I forget what branch of their government he was in, but some dude from Israel,
Oh yeah.
a scientist dude, went out and was like, yep, basically aliens are real. We've seen UFOs. We've made contact. The U.S. government knows about it. Trump knows about it. And yeah, this is
Yeah.
the truth. And everyone's just like kind of losing their minds. Like,
What the hell is a Galactic Federation?
exactly. And people are like, do you think the Galactic Federation's real? There's no way. And I'm like, dude, to be honest with you, I don't know. That
Well-
is so far out of my means of understanding that I cannot say yes or no to it, because I've been on this earth my entire life. Every single person except for a very few select individuals have been on this earth their entire life.
Yeah.
even the people that have studied space for their entire life have been on this earth for their entire life.
Exactly.
So if there was someone out there that could fly through space, I would imagine they would be able to cloak themselves somehow.
Yeah.
They might be out there and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
Dude, they could be outer moon for all we know. There could be... Oh, there's another conspiracy theory.
They could be right
People
behind
say...
that tree.
Exactly, but people say that the moon is a mechanical device.
Oh, Jesus.
And that people are on the inside. I don't know how much I believe about it. I don't. But realistically, if all the conspiracies align for the Earth as far as like aliens coming down to Egypt and helping build the pyramids having some sort of thing in them that we don't know about, and it's been confirmed by scientists that there is a compartment of the pyramids that we don't know what is in there at all. We can't get in it. We don't know what's in it. We don't know how to get to it. We're just trying to figure it out right now.
And to delve deeper into that one, like, they didn't believe it at first. Like, you were saying that some kid said there was something in there.
Yeah, dude. All right, so, like, long story short, this kid from, like, I want to say, like, the 90s, early 2000s, might have been before that. I don't quite remember. I researched it a while ago.
Dude, yeah.
But he was a young boy from Russia that was extremely smart. Nobody really taught him about space, yet he knew space dynamics. He knew space physics. He knew how to travel through space. He knew, like, numbers for space and stuff like that. Like, he was teaching professors things back in, like, supposedly from, like, of word of mouth of what the documentary said on it. I can't remember his name, but they were basically saying, like, he's, like, the Martian child that has all his memories. Like, he knows what he's talking about is what they were saying.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, this dude at one point came out and said, there's something in the pyramids. There's a room in there that you do not know about, and what is contained in there are secrets that can literally make the entire world develop into a completely new place.
Yeah, and that made scientists, because they had originally,
They had looked through it,
Yeah, they've looked through it multiple times, but they went back and they used a different type of equipment, new technology, and they scanned it up and down, and they found this freaking room.
Yeah.
So.
And on the inside of the pyramids, somehow, they keep it at 29 degrees exact. Also, the pyramids line up to be the coordinates of
the speed of light, bro.
To this, like, the 7th decimal.
Yeah, and if you look at it, there's multiple pyramids around the world. They form like this structure on, like, it's so weird.
Like, I'm not saying that that's necessarily true. All I'm saying is it's crazy that they figured all that out at one time.
Yeah.
And, like, it just so happened to be. Like, there's no way. There's no way it just so happened to be.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But that's just another, like, little conspiracy theory, but that's just it. Like, you can find 1.5 million different conspiracy theories. At the end of the day, it really just matters how you evaluate it, how you let it affect your life.
And how you perceive it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The perception of it, the value it brings to your life, whether it's actual value or whether it's detrimental. Because at the end of the day, like, if there is an Illuminati, can I do anything about it right now?
No.
No. Am I going to do anything about it?
No.
Maybe in the future.
Maybe.
Not right now, because I'm just me.
Yeah.
And that's like, knowledge is power, but it's also the maturity to be able to wait to take action to when you either have the ability or when you can at least speak out on it.
Exactly.
That's the biggest piece of advice I could give anyone on conspiracies, because, like, me personally, I love conspiracies, dude. I love talking about them.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love hearing about them, hearing what people think, how things planned out. I love seeing the technical sides to them, but I also like seeing the sides that might be a little bit illogical but still somehow make sense.
Yeah, I like the entertaining aspect of it too.
Exactly. So there's definitely a lot of cool things. Was there any specific tools or thing like that you had in mind?
Well, I think, honestly, like, you were talking about giving advice. My best advice would be, if you're going to look into a conspiracy theory, make sure you do your research.
Oh, absolutely.
Because then you have, like, people saying the Illuminati was like an egg or something like that.
Yeah, literally. At the end of the day, I think as much as we want this to be as educational as possible, when it comes down to conspiracies,
you have to think outside the box.
Yeah, it's an educational front of, like, we want to tell you guys what we've heard and what we know, but it's still up to you guys to do some research so that way you can really figure it out on your own, see what you think to be true, and see what you think to be not true.
Yeah, because in the end, conspiracy theories really, really revolve around what you think they are.
Yeah, literally, like we keep saying,
It's your perception.
No,
Exactly.
perception is everything. I mean, if you reality itself is nothing but a perception, but that's a completely different topic for another time.
No way, but see on CIA website again, you can see an actual documentation saying
Yes, but that's also perception because, like I said, like some person still had to go do
had
that.
to do that exactly.
So, like, as right as we are about it being on a CIA website, which is supposedly something that we find to be more true, well, what about someone that doesn't believe that the government's completely honest with us? Because they told us aliens weren't true for the longest time, and now we have people from other countries telling us aliens are true.
True.
Who do we believe? Because both dudes are supposedly scientists. What makes a U.S. scientist any better than an Israeli scientist? Nothing. Genuinely, like, we think, oh, we're better because we're in the U.S. We have better education. Quite frankly, our education sucks to a certain degree.
We ranked like 24th in the
Yeah,
whole
like
thing.
we do have substance to our country. Like we're not just retards. Obviously, we're in development for a reason. But like we can't just assume like, oh, well, he wasn't from the U.S., so I'm just going to discard everything he has to say.
And there's a lot of people who think like that, though.
Exactly, and that's why I'm saying like you can't really. You have to keep that semi-open mindset, but then also be willing to go do the research on what you have to do, so that way you know what really is leading forward towards progression and what's really just deceiving.
But, you know, and honestly, your research can only go so far unless you, like, actually go out and check what you're doing.
Yeah, that is true.
So
That
you
is
can
true.
only go so far with, like, news articles, websites, and all these other different stuff.
And that's why at the end of the day, I kind of just say to let it affect you in the way that you find most effective for your life. If you hear a conspiracy that makes you anxious or makes you, depressed or whatever the case might be, whatever emotions it might bring along, because everyone's different, it's going to affect everyone differently.
Yeah.
Don't mess with it. Like, at the end of the day, it's a conspiracy theory. It's nothing that's laid in stone. So why would you physically and mentally put yourself in a space that isn't going to be helpful to your growth just because you're curious about it?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying curiosity kills the cat. Curiosity kills the cat, but trying 9 times over what leads to his success.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get me wrong, keep on trying if you want to, but if you start feeling like it's overwhelming because of this one theory, just ditch that theory and go on to the next one. There's plenty out there.
Yeah,
There's plenty of things to hear about that might entertain you, that can keep your brain going and keep you thinking, but then doesn't lead to, like, anxiety and lead to, like, questioning humanity and questioning your own life. Like, developing these thoughts and this consciousness is very important, but it's also very important to be able to monitor yourself. It's just like anything else. Like, imagine going out and working out, right? You're going to work out to what your abilities are. You're not going to work out in a way that completely ruins your body. Don't get me wrong, as you're working out, you're breaking down tissue, you're breaking down muscles, and then it's rebuilding itself in the process of healing and everything like that. But if you go through the gym and you just completely obliterate your arm,
you're not going to make
it's
any
not going to
gains.
grow back right.
Yeah, you're not going to make any gains. You're going to make negative gains.
Exactly. And so if you're going out and mentally doing, because that's another thing that people don't really think about, is how much of a muscle your mind is, and that you need to train it to get the results you want. So, like, if you're going in and trying to logically ascertain, like, what's correct and incorrect about these conspiracies, but you don't have the mental fortitude to do it, you're going to question everything. You're going to end up with a lot of these bad side effects, and you're going to end up with a confusion about yourself almost. You know, you almost have to go into it headstrong but open-minded. It's really hard because it's so hard being, like, knowing what you know to be true, but also being open to new truths being true as well.
Yeah, and that's like conspiracy theories literally make you have to think outside of the box.
Absolutely.
Because in the end, if you're closed-minded, no conspiracy is going to make sense at all.
No. Dude, I love my family, but every night, depending on certain things, like, just because of, like, the way they were raised or things like that, or even myself sometimes just because of how I was raised or the people I hung out with growing up, like, someone will say something and I'm just like, dude, there is absolutely no way on earth that is remotely true. But then some people walk up and they're like, dude, what are you talking about? That makes sense to me. And it's like, it doesn't make me smart or them stupid or them smart or me stupid. It's just the difference in growth. It's the difference in how I was raised to how they were raised, to the knowledge brought forth to them, to the knowledge brought forth to me. Because what's going to happen if every single person that said, yeah, aliens are real, we're going to see them in the next couple of years, I believe it, and then we see aliens, what are we going to do? Oh, dude, you were right. Wow.
Yeah.
And that creates extreme self-doubt on yourself, because then you're like, well, if he was right about that, what else is he right about? What else am I wrong about?
Yeah.
Whereas instead, if you just go in and be like, you know what, homeboy over there says aliens are coming in the next 2 years, that'd be kind of cool to see, but like, I'm not going to worry about it, because until then, I can't control any of it.
And I gotta focus on me.
Exactly.
Nobody else.
Exactly. So in the long run, I really feel like conspiracy theories are good for mental ambiguity and mental development if you use it correctly. Mm-hmm. But it can also be detrimental to your health if you just let it take over, and let it just consume you as a person.
Exactly.
But altogether, I feel like everything we've talked about, it just leads into itself. You can do your own research. You can look up, literally, like we said, the first thing that pops up if you look up Illuminati bloodline is the PDF that you see from the government.
Yeah.
Do your own research on that aspect, because it is the first thing. It takes 2 seconds to look up. You can read as much of it as you want.
Down, and there's a whole PDF with literally everything you need to know.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
It's wild.
So,
but no, to wrap this up, definitely do your research.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it get to your head.
Yeah.
Because your head is your most important aspect of yourself. Mm-hmm. It's how you perceive things. And if you let a conspiracy really get to your head, then you can really lose your mind. So make sure you do your research. Make sure you don't lose your mind. And just live with the conspiracy and don't try to confirm it as much.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you don't necessarily have to have the confirmation on everything you do.
Yeah.
But with that, we thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Wasted Ink. We appreciate each and every one of you that do tune in. We'll see you guys for our next episode next week. Later.